While we try to be as helpful as possible, this podcast should not be considered as professional or financial advice. It contains general information only, and you should seek out professional advice for your own personal circumstances before making any financial decisions.
Welcome back, guys. I'm Julia.
And I'm Nick.
And I'm David.
And this is the Enthusiast Lab. Alrighty, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Enthusiast Lab. Nick is salty because he's sitting on my left and didn't get an intro.
No. If you're watching this, you'll actually see that we've actually switched seats because I got sick and fucking tired of sitting in front of the whatever this recording shit is, and my arm just keeps smacking. So I look like fucking. I can't say the word, but the one that starts with R. I look like one of the.
Nick hasn't.
I look like a
like a tyrannosaurus.
Yeah, like a tyrannosaurus, just sitting there, just going.
Little chicken over here.
Yeah, literally.
Nick's has not learnt the art of avoiding the big block that's in front of you.
Yes.
Anyway, so guys, welcome back. We are impromptu recording with David, my brother, who's
also building with us.
Who is
Yes.
building with us. He was in the last episode of, he was the topic of the last episode we released.
We talked about you, not to you.
Yeah.
And now we have to talk to you.
It was absolutely not consensual.
Welcome to Mr. Enthusiast.
Okay, so it's kind of impromptu. We're kind of flying by the... we're
see
winging
what
it.
happens.
We're just going to keep winging it. But
Yep.
this one, we thought this is going to be a really good episode. They are all good episodes. But this one's going to be a really good topic because we're going to deep dive with David about the mental struggles and the emotions from going through a build, right? Because what Julie and I went through is very different because we are a couple and we were together for quite a while. This is a single bloke that is working FIFO. He's 21?
Yeah, 21.
He's 21. Like, young blood. Little baby.
Young blood.
So you've got those challenges with the work that he's in. He works up north now. So you've got the struggles of that, and you've got the struggles of holding a social life as well with family, and then doing the build as well. And we're going to go through because we had a very big discussion as a family last night about some of these things, and we went, fuck, this would actually be a good episode to actually bring up with people. And David was like, fuck yeah, let's actually share it out.
Well, I mean, David wasn't so sure this morning. He's like, "What are you guys doing today?" I'm like,
We
"Oh,
didn't
we're
have to share that
podcasting."
with everyone. Fuck.
No, I think I was just hungry, to be honest.
Still hungry? Haven't had breakfast. Okay, so Dev.
So let's start the actual episode 4
Yeah.
minutes in.
Yeah.
He has never listened to a podcast episode. Thank you so much for supporting us.
No, that's right.
But we
All
always
good.
start by having our guest introduce themselves. So introduce yourself.
Who the fuck are you?
Right, so I'm David.
David.
Julia's little brother.
Yes.
I guess what?
You're 21.
Yeah, 21.
What do you do for work?
I've been doing FIFO for about 2 years now.
What do you do? on
Where?
site?
What's your role?
So I'm underground service crew at the moment, so working underground. Been underground since I started.
How'd you get the job in the first place?
Oh, it's actually a bit of a weird story. So I was kind of doing nothing for about 2 months. I was like questioning what am I like? Yeah, I'm like, what am I even doing right now? Like I'm literally just sitting here doing nothing.
Yep.
So I was like, okay, like I'm gonna try and make a bit of coin. Obviously, I was PTing before that, but then I just felt like I wasn't making enough coin.
Yeah, sure.
So I was doing nothing for about 2 months. Started searching for a FIFO job. Absolutely impossible. Anyone that's like trying to look for a FIFO job knows like how hard it is to find a job without any experience.
It's the experience part that kills it, eh?
Yeah, I think
because everyone
like-
wants to hire, but if you don't have the experience, it's a big risk for these companies, I guess.
Yeah, well, once you've got the experience, it's easier to find a job. But
Yeah.
I was applying to so many places and finding nothing. And the way I actually ended up finding the job was I was skating, because at the time I was skating a lot. That's basically all I was doing. I was skating, and then I had a mate.
Skater boy.
Yeah.
Skater boy.
And I had this young kid that I'd skate with. Like, He was about 12 and I was like 19, but he was like a really good skater. So we were skating
cool.
all the time.
Because it's like
Yeah.
and there's like heaps of people that go out and skating and shit.
It's
There's
like
skating rinks and stuff, eh?
Well, yeah, at a skate park.
Yeah, okay, cool.
So obviously, like everyone that skates together all have something in common. They all vibe together.
Yeah, cool.
And I ended up meeting his dad, and he kind of just said, "Oh, what are you up to?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm actually looking for a FIFO job at that moment." And he was like, "All right, I'll see what I can do." 2 weeks later, I get a call from the place that I'm working at now,
Yep.
saying, "I heard that you're looking for an underground role. Are you interested?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm interested." He's like, "Okay, sweet. I'll send you an email." Done. Phone call ended.
Yeah.
2 weeks later, I was up on site, no interview, no
Wow.
nothing. I just had the job
Fuck
like
yeah.
that.
That's
so
sick.
that's how I got the FIFO job. It
It's
was
who
so
you
random.
know. It's
Yeah.
who you
But
know.
I think as well, like if you are looking for a FIFO job, actually like once you put the effort out there, like something will come.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it was. Like I was putting the effort out there,
Yeah.
and I was trying to network to find a job, and it
Yeah.
came.
Rather than being a half-assed, let me go and send off one inquiry for a
That's
job
right.
role, and then, there's nothing available. It's like, bro, I'm going to do everything I can. You're still doing your normal life, which is just going out skating and doing whatever, and then the fucking role just landed in your lap, and you
That's
went,
right.
fuck it, took the role, and off you go.
And you hear people say it's like, it's who you know in FIFO.
Mm.
Like, so if you know somebody that's in it, most likely they can get you a job. But
Yeah.
if you don't know anybody, then the only way you're going to find someone that's in it is by
Yeah.
networking and
Yeah.
talking to
Yeah,
people.
100%. Because someone knows someone, and they can just put the word and go, hey, if you are looking for someone, this guy might be looking for it.
That's right.
And that's how the conversation happened. That's how you got in. Cool.
pretty-
David manifested hard and got a job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were very proud of him when
yes.
he did that.
Very
Yeah.
proud.
I mean, yeah, it's been a bit of a journey, but yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
So, I guess from here, let's chat about why you decided to build, because we found generally most of our friends and family have opted not to build, even though we're in the industry where, we
We do a
sell-
good fucking job, and we
like,
support
like we do
our
house and land
clients.
packages. Like we're very much in the industry. So if you're going to come to someone, like they always come and ask us advice and questions. But we found that most of our friends and family have always lent and found an established home that they want to
Yeah,
buy.
they just veer to
Which
buy.
is no qualms. Like it is what it is. Building is not for
there's
everyone.
a little bit in the back. Julia wants to be the nice one. I'm sitting in the back of mine going,
But there's no, from my side, there's
"It is
no
what it is."
qualms.
Yeah.
And David didn't really, like I asked David, what's the plan? Are you going to look at, buying or building a home? What's the game plan? Because David at the moment ping pongs between 3 homes, mum's, dad's and ours.
Yeah.
So he's
Must be a nice life, hey?
kind
Pay
of a
zero
floater,
rent.
no overheads. But like, what's the game plan moving forward? He's like, I don't know yet. I don't want to build. So what actually convinced you to build? Because you didn't really want to.
You tossed it around a little bit, and then you're like, nah. Like I'm pretty chill. Like just do my 2-in-1 roll. And
Yeah. It was pretty spontaneous.
yeah,
Like obviously there's more factors to the reason that I'd benefit from having a house.
yeah,
But I think, like, honestly, it was pretty spontaneous. Like,
Yeah.
it was more just like, obviously, yeah, I mean, had spoken to a lot of people that have built with you guys,
yeah.
and I'd had, like...
It's a small world, eh?
Yeah.
It's a small world.
And obviously, like, networking with people like that, and then hearing about how much those people have benefited from building... And it was literally an overnight thing. I'd had a chat to, obviously, your guy's friend, Riley.
Yeah.
Shout out Riley.
Shout out Riley.
Shout out Riley, you weirdo. Nah. And like, yeah, we just sat and we're having a fat chat. And then the next day I reached out and I was like, let's sit down and
have a spit yarn.
have a yarn. And
Yeah.
that's like how it started. So it was really spontaneous.
Yeah.
David
Yeah,
had
cool.
to go through all the processes too. He's like,
100%.
when are you guys coming home? I want to have a chat about a house. We're like, nah, bitch,
Nah,
you
man.
can book it.
Nah, you booking an appointment, come into the office, but that's the thing. And like
Yeah.
I explained when we were doing before you even signed up, it's business is business, family is family. Like, yes, we'll help
Yeah.
you and we'll guide you through. You get the exact same fucking attitude. You get the exact same fucking service as all of our clients.
That's right.
Yes, there are little things that we can help tweak and accommodate for you because obviously we are part of it, so we can give you a lot more upfront advice during the entire process because you're literally at our fucking house every like
Yeah, so I
second
can chat
week.
about anything whenever.
100%. But otherwise, it's the same shit. You still get the same emails from Julia. You still get the same introductions, the same everything. Still had to pay for the house. Still had to pay for the land.
That's right.
Everyone does the same thing.
Yeah.
And Dev signed up, I want to say it's like October last
It was
year.
about October, November, because we
Yeah.
secured the land in November.
Because it was right after your birthday party that Dev
Yeah.
signed up. And Nick's birthday is at the end of September.
It was like the day after.
Yeah. The day after the
Yeah,
party.
I'm
That
pretty
a
sure it was
good party.
October.
It was a good party.
And we are now sitting in May. We're recording this first week of May. And Dev still isn't at slab down stage yet because
No.
we had to wait for titles. We've had to go through the administration process, which is
Yeah.
normal for a lot of clients who are
Yeah.
waiting for titles.
Yeah.
And what ended up happening is David sent me a message and said, hey, when you get home, can we have a chat? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. What's going on? I don't know what the chat's about. And he sat down, he kind of went, you know what? I'm just really struggling with this whole process. I'm second guessing all my decisions. I've been saving so hard and I see all this money in my bank account and I feel like I'm working so hard and not getting rewarded for the work I'm putting in right now.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of the reason why we decided to record this episode, because I feel like a lot of our clients go through this stage where all of them are saving super, super hard. And I mean, we've gone through this. We're saving super hard to get our deposits all, ready, all of our ducks in a row. And then when it comes to just before that time where you have to give the money away, you sit there and go, I've saved so much money. I don't want to give it away. I'm second guessing myself. And I think that's super, super common with a lot of clients, a lot of people in this day and age. And you're really young, where we're kind of living in a society where instant gratification is so common, because if you don't like a video, you swipe, for a couple seconds, you need to find another video or another reel that you are enjoying on social media. You can pop open your phone, spend $20, and then your Uber food comes in 20 minutes. You don't even have to leave the couch. It's almost everywhere that you go is instant gratification.
That's right.
And here you're working long, hard hours. FIFO gig is not an easy not an easy job. And you're working so hard, you're saving all this money, and you're looking at your bank account. Fuck yeah, I've got so much money, but I'm not getting rewarded instantaneously by getting a home. And
you're not seeing the progress happen so quick, because obviously with a build, like with a buying home, you put the money down and you move into the home within 30, 45 days. Whereas with the build, it's because we had untitled land, so we had to wait until that's getting done. We're right at that borderline now, and then you start the construction, and that's when, the feels of a full construction journey, that's when things start really settling in and go, phew, it's actually worth it. Like, I can see something for all this hard work. But right now, in David's mindset, it's like, bro, I'm busting my hole for months. And it's not like I've done it for a month. It's been the last 5-6 months, and there's just nothing there. And then you start second guessing heaps of shit. But let's actually go through some of that, because it wasn't just about the savings. It was actually about your job role and about all of that type of shit. It's like, run us through and run for like all the listeners out there, like, what the fuck is what's going on?
Yeah. Let's run through that. I think before I run through that, I think if you are having doubts, like, I think the conversation where you had last night had like helped me so much.
That's good to hear.
And I was like actually pretty nervous to like have that chat.
Yeah.
Obviously like doubts, fears were going through my own mind.
Yeah.
But once I had that chat with you guys last night, I felt so relieved.
Yeah,
So I
like
think
a weight off the shoulders came off.
100%.
Really?
So I think like if there is anyone out there having doubts, like, reach out to you guys. 'Cause it helps.
Yeah, okay.
It helps having,
So
having a chat. Like,
we're gonna start charging for fucking
for psychology chats.
yeah.
But no, all right. So basically, like, where I'm at the moment, like, honestly, like the last like week in my own mind, like I've been struggling.
Yeah.
And I think there's many factors to it. Obviously, there's the build's about to start.
Yeah.
I'm about to see, a big amount of money leave my bank account.
Yeah.
There's that, but then there's also the job side of things.
Yep.
In my head, I'm like, how long do I actually want to do this FIFO game for, or this FIFO lifestyle for?
Yeah.
A lot of my values are based around, my own health, being fit, basically being healthy. A lot of my values, and a lot of those values don't line up with FIFO.
Yeah.
In the FIFO lifestyle, I can't focus on, well, I probably could, but it almost feels like that I can't focus on anything other than the actual work itself and making money. When I'm home, it feels like I can't start up a new hobby. I can't figure out what job I would want to do. So I think like trying to juggle how could I possibly eventually transition out of the FIFO lifestyle, and on top of that manage
a mortgage
and overheads. So I think, like trying to navigate for me, how can I transition out of FIFO? Because that's what I feel like I would want to do eventually.
Yep.
I don't want to do FIFO,
forever
until I'm 40, 45. I
Yeah.
would eventually like to find my thing.
Yeah.
Or my quote unquote cliche calling.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's daunting.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's definitely hard.
Because some of the parts that we talked about this, right, is from like 70%, right, of our clients are FIFOs, right, especially in WA, right? And the conversation happens all the time where it's, I'm going to do this for a while, I enjoy what I do, but at some point I might want to come back home, right? And there are those challenges. You're away from site, you're doing a 2-in-1 as well. So you're 2 weeks away, you're 1 week back. And, from when you are back, when we had this conversation yesterday, we were talking about the fact that, yes, you're back for like 6-7 days, but the true actual days of when you get to do shit is maybe like 2 or 3 hours, like half of it, because you're so exhausted, and then you got to get ready for work again.
Your first 2 days, you're basically just recovering. Realistically, unless you were highly, highly motivated, first 2 days you're resting.
Yeah.
You might have a couple drinks, you have a rest.
Yeah.
So really that leads to, I fly in on a Thursday. You got Saturday, Sunday, Monday, where you're like full of energy.
Yeah.
You're ready to do something. And then, by the time Tuesday or Wednesday hits, you've got to get ready for work on Thursday again. So really you've got 3 max days, 4.
Three max days. So, and then, this is a single bloke, doesn't have a missus, doesn't have kids. So like if you're trying to add on having a missus and trying to commit, hold on to that relationship, or you've got children involved, it can get very, very difficult. So 100%, because I know in the back of my mind, like we were talking about, which we will talk about now, it's, some clients that have that difficulty, because a lot of people do have that difficulty with a 2-in-1 or a 3-in-1 role. What about changing to an 8-in-6 or a 2-in-2? Would that, then help accommodate? Because I know so many guys, obviously, with car scene and shit, and they are FIFOs, and they're like, man, I miss out on all the fucking events. Like the things I really want to do when I'm back, I miss out on it. So it's just fucking shit. But then they change from a 2-in-1 to an 8-in-6 or 2-in-2, and they go, look, even though I'm losing 10, 20, 30 grand from my salary, that flexibility might now open up. So I've got the opportunity to do some more work and this and that.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
And I think from what we had yesterday, like that is, I think, the next step for me.
Yeah.
To at least give myself more time to think about things.
Yeah.
Like 2 weeks off would be amazing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think on top of that, obviously what you said at the start was, a lot of people want to get in and make a bit of money and then get out.
Yes.
And for me, it's like my original plan was FIFO was, get in for 6 months, make a bit of coin, and then, and that'll be good. At least I have a bit of money to work with.
Yes.
6 months pass, I'm like, oh, you know what? Like, another 6 months of this would be good. Like, imagine the coin I could have from another 6 months.
Look how much I've made now, and I could double it.
Imagine doubling that.
Yes.
And then another 6 months, another 6 months. It's been 2 years now.
Yeah.
And in my head, like, how much longer could I do that for,
Yeah.
But I think 2-in-2 would allow me to think about, is the 2-in-2 going to be sustainable for a longer time period?
Yep.
And I think taking that step will help me figure that out. Is it sustainable, or do I actually really need to find my way out of this and figure something else out?
And find something in Perth.
Well, because mental health is so important in the FIFO world, right? It is a really taxing job, not just physically but mentally. And I think where you are sitting right now, it's all about finding that happy medium.
Yeah.
So you've made all this savings and you've decided to build a house. We're going ahead with the build. You're going to lose all the savings that you've got. So, well, not all of them, but, a good chunk of your savings. So the game plan from here is, making decisions. As a single young guy, you've got so many options.
Yeah.
You can go and trial the 2 and 2 instead of the 2 and 1. So that means you're still making an income. You still very much easily can make your mortgage repayments, and kind of have enough time to go and upskill in something else if you want to do. Go and explore, other alternatives of where you might want to go and, change your life to.
Yeah, try different hobbies
Yeah.
or skills and shit while you are back, to then see which one's really sticking or really trying to attract you. Do you know what I mean? Like, because you're past that honeymoon period with the new role, with new job role. Because everything that's new, you get a couple months or maybe up to a year of that honeymoon period where everything is great, and then you go, is it though? And I think you're hitting that point.
I think something that like hit really hard for me was a question that Julia asked was, say for example, you were to back out of FIFO, quit your job, what would you do?
Yeah.
And I think I kind of like sat there for a bit, and I'm like, well, fuck, like
I don't know.
What do I do?
I don't know.
Yeah.
And that's like pretty daunting as well. But I think what makes it hard is, and what goes through my head is, working FIFO, being 2 weeks on, 1 week off, you don't even get a chance to think about, what do I actually really want to do?
Yeah.
Because all you're doing is working and then recovering.
Yes. Yeah.
You don't actually get a chance to figure that out. And I think for me, I'd love to put myself in a position where I have more time to actually figure that out. And I know, like, obviously I'm only young now, but what would scare me is, getting to that, like sticking out with the FIFO, work, rest, getting to
30, 35,
35, 40, and then still not knowing, because I never actually gave myself that chance
to try and do it.
to try and figure out. So that's where I'm at now, where I'm willing to take a risk. I'm willing to take a pay cut to
see if there's something that will align better with your values, but also that will feel rewarding for you from a mental point of view and emotional point of view, rather than just being a Groundhog Day, which is just work, eat, sleep, repeat.
What I was also leaning towards is, because David's so young, he's still young and single, he has the benefit of being able to be quite flexible with the build and the house. So once the build is complete, David is able to rent out, it's a 4x2. You can go and rent out the other 3 rooms. You're still going to have your master and ensuite. So you kind of have your own zone. So, if you are taking a pay cut and you're renting the other 3 rooms, you'd be able to do the repayments with the pay cut. But then if you're not utilising the house as much as, the average couple or family would, renting out the rooms, you're not there for 2 weeks anyway. So why not, make some money back, rent out some rooms? There's so many options that you can take and, deviate to. You talk a lot about, I really want to travel. If you go on the 2 and 2 swing, you try out, get your mental headspace a little bit better, get some savings back behind you, and then maybe go travel for a month or 2. Yeah. And go and actually take that rest and recovery to the next level, where you are not working at all. You've still got enough savings. If you're renting out the rooms, then most of your mortgage is covered. Yep. And you're kind of taking that time to kind of realign yourself to where you want to go and find what you want to do. Yeah. And I think just generally, I think this is such a taboo topic that no one really talks about. Everyone that comes onto the pod, everyone's like, yeah, we came in, we saw Nick, we signed up and everything was great.
I mean, David did the same thing. He came and saw us and signed up.
Well, you sort of talk about the best moments and the highlight moments, but don't really talk about everything that goes on behind the scenes, or the struggles.
Yeah, I think a lot of clients, and we see this time and time again, we went through the same thing. When you have the keys in hand and you've got the home, you kind of forget the struggles that you went through to get to the house. And like everything kind of dulls in comparison once you've reached your goal, once you've been rewarded for the hard work that you've put in.
It dulls that. You don't forget it. You do remember the struggles. They don't just disappear from you, right? But the thing is you then have that time.
Bless you, Ryan.
Ryan bless you, shaking the whole room with his sneezes.
That was a dad sneeze, Ryan.
That was a dad sneeze.
Was that an earthquake?
Yeah. So fuck, what was I saying?
You were talking about the
beneficial feelings of completing a build.
Yes.
Yeah. So
You don't forget.
No, you don't. Yeah, you don't actually forget them. But what happens is you end up having that time once you picked up the keys, you move in, you get all your furniture in, you know, you have your fucking pizza on the first day and all that shit, and you sit there and go, fuck, like, we actually did this. And you go, fuck, the things we went through, like, all that saving, all those hardships, like everyone telling us it's going to take forever, you're going to have all this shit. And then you sit there and go, it wasn't actually that bad. And that's where, you know, you start realizing that there's a lot more positives, like what we was, you know, like when you were spit yelling with Riley and all the other guys, like that convinced you to even reach out and go, fuck it, let's do it. Because man, Riley had some fucking shit he had to go through. Most of our clients do. If it was easy, everyone would do it. Yeah. And we literally say it all the time. We're not here to sugarcoat it, but you've got that support the entire way, and then you see the end result, and like you're fucking laughing, and that's where, do you know what I mean? You're currently in that middle point, going, I'm struggling.
Well, yeah. I think it almost felt like I was almost like trapped in a way.
Yeah.
But I could only see pretty black and white. Like I could only see the extreme benefits and then the extreme struggle. I couldn't see anything in the middle.
Zone,
And I think having a chat to you guys, and the biggest thing was when we actually made a plan.
Yeah.
I think having a plan definitely almost made me feel more alive because I had something that I could work on.
Yeah.
Whereas before I was kind of floating around like a butterfly, not really knowing what's going on.
Yeah.
And sort of just like, ooh, la-di-da-di-da.
Yeah.
But now that I've got a plan and I've got something that I can work on and work towards, I think that just makes living a bit easier because there's a plan.
And that was the thing. Like we sat down and we went through all these different scenarios and we're like, all right, cool. Like, let's talk. You know, you've been approved. You've already been formally approved. We're about to fucking settle and shit. So like, you know, if I cancel right now, what are the repercussions? Okay, from the builder's point of view, you have this, and this. Because you're not financially declined that you just end the contract. It's approved. We're just waiting on the titles literally in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So these are the potential risks that can happen with this. Now, if we didn't do this and we wrote it out, what do those repayments look like during the course of the build, along with working through additional options of you currently on 2 and 1? What happens with a 2 and 2? Let's work on the worst case. You lost X amount of money. Where does that leave you? Can we still afford those repayments? Yes, but then that opens the doors for X, Y, and Z. And we went through in detail.
Yeah.
I came back home from work. It was about 6 p.m. We didn't finish the conversation until about 10 p.m.
Yeah.
It was about 10:30. Like, we went through all of it. Like, we shared everything.
The amount of scenarios.
Yeah.
Insane.
And there's an endless amount of scenarios that you could
100%
take. And I think it was about just finding that middle ground.
Exactly.
Not going too far
left
either way.
and right.
It's also looking at the future, and like where Dev was kind of looking was very like short pace future. What do I do when I get the house? What if I don't want the house once it's built? Like, yes, we can sell it. Yes, we can do this. Yes, you can rent it out. And I think your mind changed quite a bit when I said you're looking, and Nick said the same thing. It's really, you know what? I love you, Nick, because we do things so alike.
Thank you. I'm glad to hear that you still love me.
Dev and I were having this conversation whilst Nick was driving home. I called Nick and I was like, hey, look, Dev's got a couple questions. Can you come home? Like, how far off are you from home? Because Dev wants to ask questions and kind of have a chat about the house. And David and I sat down for a good 25 minutes while Nick packed up at work.
It was about an hour, but yeah.
Well, we were talking for like 15 minutes. Then the drive home was about 25 minutes. Then Nick sat down. And what I said to David was...
I needed my tea.
Yeah, then Nick made his tea. You're looking at your scenario right now where you've got 3 homes that you can live in. You don't really have any overheads, but what you're recognizing is you're not always loving staying at mum's because, you know, you have your restrictions, you have, you know, rules and regulations. You have to stick to household rules and don't always love them. Yeah. Same thing if you go to dad's where you've got your rules and regulations, those household rules. And right now it's quite easy where this middle ground, you can kind of come and go as you please. You kind of float on through. You've got your own set of keys. You know where you park your car. As long as you are reasonably quiet if you're coming home drunk, we're quite happy. You know, clean your room, clean your bathroom, wash up the dishes, do your own laundry. Yep. You're kind of fine. Yeah. But I threw the scenario and I said, you know, everything's all well and good now, but what if Nick and I want kids in the next year or two? And we don't even know if we want kids. Like it's still such an unknown topic for us. But what if we do want kids?
Yeah.
Then your bedroom and the other bedroom turns into baby's room.
Yeah.
And where do you go from there? Are you going to be happy going back to mum's or dad's? Because our house almost isn't an option anymore. You know, you're going to have to keep it down. You can't do a lot of the things that you already do now.
That you have the freedom and
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
to do whatever you need.
Puts me back to square one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then you sat there and you're like, well, fuck, I didn't really think about that, because we've always been this stable kind of household where you can float on through. If shit goes wrong, we've always told you, call us, come home, like, let's talk it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what happens if that's no longer a possibility? Where do you go?
The talk and the support's always there, but it's like the flexibility of just coming in, do as I please, and walk out. It's not that flexible anymore. Yes,
Yeah.
if shit's the fan, and let's say we've got a kid and all this shit on, 100%, call us up. Hey, I need a place to stay. Say less. Get the fuck in.
Yeah.
But it's no longer I'm just gonna roll through. We're about to go to a concert. I'm just gonna fucking have a couple of prees and blah
Yeah,
blah blah.
can I bring my
It's a
Mate
bit
over?
different.
100%.
That type of scenario, because Julie started making it.
No,
sound a bit
sorry.
different.
And then from there, okay, so, you know, if our household isn't that constant option anymore, you're going to go end up finding a rental. And what does that look like? Because,
Yeah.
you know, and you start looking at the future pace of what does the next 1, 3 and 5 years look like. And you're like, oh, you know what? Maybe I should, you know, stick it out with the build. I've got 12 months to decide which way I want to swing with the build, whether
Absolutely.
we build it and we sell it, you build it and you rent it, you build it and live in it and rent it, you build it and you live in it yourself. Like, there's so many different avenues you can take. But I think
Unanimously.
Hello?
Today, Junior.
unanimously, we all kind of sat there and said, all right, we're going ahead with the build, and we're just going to start putting plans in place of check in 3 months, in 6 months, in 9 months, and 12 months as the build progresses. And what factors can you adjust and change whilst the build is happening?
Is this still working for the headspace and the mental game that you have? No. Okay, what can we change over the next 3 months before the next check-in? But those were all the different components, and you know, after we went through all the different situations and we went, okay, this is actually quite realistic, because we went, all right, fine, call it. But then the money that you might lose versus if you wrote it out, paid those things while still developing, giving that additional time for yourself to try and figure out what you want to do, because you might really enjoy 2 and 2. And then, you know, you might be, what was it like? Because you were doing the extra training and shit like that, and you're going to get out and do blasting, I think it was, blast crew.
Yeah, charge up. Yeah.
Yeah, charge up. So do you know what I mean? Like, potentially doing a 2 and 2, then you're in charge up. That might, I actually really enjoy fucking, do you know what I mean? So you continually going in, money's still rolling through, which is quite comfortable, works with your situation, and then all these things come in, and you're like, okay, fuck. I'm like, all right, sweet, let's actually write it down. And then, and that's what we did. We literally sat down and said, cool, for the next 3 months, so we're in May, so we said, all right, in June, what's happening by June? Okay, the land's going to get titled. You're going to have the settlement. This is what those rough repayments on the interest is. What happens for July, August, September?
Yeah.
And then from September, it goes, okay, we do the review at the end of September. And then October, November, December, sweet. By Christmas, we catch back up anyways for Christmas.
Have a review.
Have a review. What's going on? Shit, we're actually on site now. We're moving through the process. How's your mental space on that aspect? Yeah, you know what? I'm actually liking this and seeing the fruition of the house now. It might completely change. Or, you know what? It hasn't really changed. Cool. What's the next? Now we go, you've got that extra savings behind you. You know that's going to set you up for the payments on the home. This is the path that I want to go down now. Sweet, happy days. Because once the finance is approved, you've been settled and stuff like that, the banks obviously don't like it. But the reality is people's situations change.
Yeah.
And once it's been approved and settled, the bank doesn't tend to normally, hey, let's go take backsies. As long as you continue making those payments. Man, we did the same thing. I was in, mechanic apprentice like we were talking about. Jules was doing it before another school care. And then we went into the sales, and then we went into fucking running our own business. The bank never took the thing off me. They didn't give two shits as long as the payments were paid on time. They didn't care. Do you know what I mean? Life situation.
Just because you have a mortgage
change.
does not mean you have to keep the same job that you got approved for
100%.
the mortgage.
But you definitely don't want to be changing your job before the finance is
Formal
approved
approval.
and settlement. Once the settlement's done, obviously that's when a lot of people that we have seen that do tend to start changing things. So that's normally that sweet spot.
I think that's like pretty normal, and I think the plan that we have made in terms of changing to the 2 and 2 role.
Yep.
I think what we've done is rather than putting, all my eggs in one basket, we've found that middle ground, and I think reviewing your plan
Yep.
every X amount of time, 3 months, 6 months, whatever it is important, because like you guys are saying, ideas can change.
100%.
How I think now can be completely different in 6 months, and I understand that.
Yes.
So I think reviewing whatever the plan is important to understand like where you're sitting at now. Like 6 months is realistically a long time.
It
is,
fucking
yeah.
is.
A lot can change in 6 months. Like
100%.
But
it also comes so quick at the same time.
At the same time, yeah.
By the time you turn around, we're going to be near Chrissy. And you're like, bro, well, where the fuck did this year go?
Yeah, that's right.
Because we're so busy, you're doing a 2 and 1. So you almost lose a month every time you go on site. By the time you're back, it's another month. It's another month.
Life goes quick when you work FIFO.
Yeah.
100%.
Life definitely goes quick when you work FIFO. And I think obviously, like you're saying, you go away for 2 weeks. 2 weeks goes, can feel long sometimes, but 2 weeks goes pretty quick.
Yeah.
Obviously your week home goes extremely quick.
Yes.
And then, that's basically a month. So, yeah.
Yeah. By the time you blink, hey.
Dev and I were also talking in the car ride over, and I think, I know we're getting pushed on time, but I did want to
We can gain 4 or 5 minutes because we fucked around with the intro.
I did want to do a quick highlight, again, because when we have clients come in, they're normally at the key handover stage. But I do think it's important to highlight how confusing it has been for you to navigate through the administration process. And we always say to our clients, like, reach out if you've got any questions. This is what we're here for, because we know the industry, we understand the process. But if you're a first home builder, like if you're building your first home, you don't know a lot of the terminology and steps and processes that come next.
Yeah.
So I thought it'd be great for you to kind of have a highlight on what your journey has been up to now, to kind of make it more relevant for clients to feel like they're not alone.
Yeah. Yeah, I think just straight away, the first thing you should do is just reach out to Nick and Jules. Like, if you don't, obviously, like, I got pretty lucky. Well, I'm pretty lucky in that sense because, like, I've always just got you guys to go, hey, look, like, what the fuck is this? Like, what am I signing? What am I looking at right now?
Yeah.
What does it even mean?
Yeah.
So I think for me, it's just a constant reaching out, whether it's reaching out to the finance broker, Maddie,
she's a weapon, eh?
Whether it's reaching out to Maddie, and like she's been real good to deal with. Call whenever you need. We'll answer most times. Answer all your questions. Is there anything else?
Cool.
All good. So I think Maddie's been big help in terms of all, like, finance side. If I didn't understand anything there, easy to reach out to. Obviously you guys. So I think if you don't know what you're looking at, just like reach out and talk about it. Otherwise, you're just going to be sitting there like spinning yourself out when all you could do is just like flick a message or make a phone call.
Did you ever feel like, even though like we're still family and shit, that's oh shit, I'm bothering fucking Nick and Jules again and shit like that, or was it always I'm just going to ask the fucking question?
I guess so. I think honestly, the only daunting like conversation I've had since the build was the one we had last night.
Okay.
Was it, just quickly, did you feel like, because it would make us upset?
Yeah,
or
there was so many things going through my head, and I think, it's like, that fear of whether it's like, letting mum and them down or letting you guys down. And I think that just the fear of that was spinning me out. But once I sat down and started talking, I'm like, oh shit, like,
it's actually not that bad.
We're just family. Like, it's pretty normal to have a conversation about these things.
100%.
And I think obviously, like, nobody else is like family with you guys.
They're pretty much.
We have a big family.
Nobody else is like living with you guys. So I think like, if you are like scared to have a conversation, just like, don't be scared. Like, don't be scared.
Solid advice.
Advice 101 with Dave. Honestly
someone
though,
that's upset, like, don't be
honestly though,
upset.
like if you are having like fears of reaching out for whatever reason, like you feel anxious, like you guys are pretty easy to talk to, so
Well, it's good to
Cheers,
hear.
Dave.
reach out. Like,
No, I appreciate it. At the end of the day, like, my role isn't to be a psychologist, but we are going to be there to be that voice of reason and to do it. It's actually a good fucking example. No, perfect. Because there was some clients that we just caught up with recently, and they were ready to go, pull the trigger and stuff, and the partner actually started getting a bit of
Cold feet.
he got cold feet, mainly because there was a lot of external parties starting to feed their opinions and thinking that they fucking know everything into him, and he's just started second guessing shit. And the missus was like messaging me. I was like, hey, like, where's this all out? And they're like, hey, look, I think we're gonna pull it. He's not really comfortable. I was like, hey, look, at the end of the day, if you want to pull the pin, pull the pin. But let's just have a conversation, try and see what's actually being said, what's going on. Let me just try and set it all out. I don't give a fuck. I would love everyone's business, but I don't need it. We are very fortunate. We have worked very hard to get to this position. We don't need it. And like we said to you, man, I don't need your business. I want the business. I would love it. But my doors aren't relied on just you to go ahead, and I need to do everything for it. But let's actually talk and go through it all. And we explain the same thing to the client. And she actually called up and was like, yeah, look, like, you know, try and give him a call. Try calling him. He didn't answer. Send him a message. He didn't answer. And I was like, fuck, whatever, man. Like, if you're not going to listen or try and reach out, it is what it is. The chick, she still caught up with me, and we end up going to go ahead with a alternative option because they were having some troubles and all this shit. Anyways, long story short, ended up actually seeing him afterwards and went through it all. And he's like, fuck, man, like, sorry that, you know, I didn't answer the phone and shit like that. It was just, there was a lot of this external communications, and I was like, you know, I made my decision and that was it. But like, when I really sat back and I went, fuck, the only one that's actually giving a fuck and wanting to give me the advice is Nick. So, and then we talked through the challenges, and I was like, look, those are some valid points here, but what they're not listening to is X, Y, and Z. And man, if you don't want to do it, no qualms, I don't give a fuck. Tell me, for fuck's sakes. Leaving me on red, I will fucking get triggered. Because all of us, the reason why is because I'm here to devote all the information for you guys. So if you want it, listen to it. But if you don't want it, let me know. Then I can focus on that focus to someone else. Do you know what I mean? Not be in this half, like, you know, dip one toe in and then one out. Either we're all in or we're all out. But let's exhaust all the options, which I'm really appreciative with yourself, man, that it takes fucking balls to have that conversation we had last night. And, you know, to be able to go, look, this is what I'm thinking. And do you know what I mean? It's not a persuade me to build. It's I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I really do appreciate, like, kudos to you, man. And I appreciate you actually coming onto the podcast to actually talk about it, because it is still a very, like, it's a tough topic. This may not be one that everyone wants to listen to, and, you know, it's all hunky-dory and all fucking la-di-da, but this is the raws. Like, this is the shit that no one's going to put on podcasts. No one's going to put on socials. This is way too long to put on socials as an Instagram reel. But these are some of the struggles. And, you know, we are there. And that's the thing is, we are there the entire way. You are stuck with us through thick and thin the entire way.
Not just because you're family.
No, I don't give a fuck if you're family. It's every client is in the same thing. Like, everyone gets the same thing. And we've helped a lot of our clients along the way who had the balls to be able to have that message or that phone call to call us and go, hey, I don't know if this is the right thing. This is what's going on. Cool, let's actually have a chat. Come on in, or we're on the phone. Man, some of the phone calls are like 40 minutes to an hour. It is what it is. If I've got the time, I will devote it. If not, we'll put the time separate and let's actually have the conversation. There's so many things that can go wrong and that can go right. And we just have to, at the end of the day, from all this, it's no matter what, you've always got us. And if you guys do feel in a similar headspace like what Deb had, or anything like that, where it's like, I don't know if this is the right thing, and like we're getting close to like this is a lot. Yes, I understand family can help, but a lot of the times family hasn't gone through the build, hasn't gone through all these things. We do this on a daily basis. We have built well over 400 fucking homes. we've dealt with hundreds and hundreds of clients in all walks of life. At the end of the day, we not be your psychologist, but we may be able to give that little bit of a different point of view, that third set of advice and the voice of reason to go, if you go ahead, these are the potential things. If you don't, these are your potential things. What are those concerns? And let's see if there's a way to find a solution that works for you guys. That's what we're here for. Give me the problem, we'll find the solution. That is literally what my fucking job is. Your problem is you need a home. Here's a solution for you guys. You guys like what we offer? Come on through. Join the fucking community. Welcome to Mr. Enthusiast. And that's what we're about.
One last thing to add to that as well was like, I think what like made sense to me was just like, I'm not the only person that's struggling, you know?
Yeah.
And I think when somebody like listens to this podcast that might be like struggling throughout the process, I think it might make them understand that it's pretty normal to go through that struggle phase.
It's huge.
It's
so daunting.
common.
It's so daunting. This is the biggest purchase of your life. Like, let's not forget this. And so many businesses out there are going, you know, this is great and fun and look what we can do. It's like, bro, let's be fucking real. This shit is hectic. It's a lot of money. But if you get the right support, it's not that bad. Like,
we do always say building a home is a roller coaster ride. You have your ups and your highs, and then you have your lows. And this is just one of the lows that is normally not talked about.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for kind of, coming on the pod and being vulnerable enough to show the...
Super proud of you.
Yeah, the struggles. Go, Dev.
Yeah. To be honest, though, like a little shout out. I am super proud of this motherfucker. I have known him for most of his life. Because me and Julie being together, we're coming up to 15 years. And he's 21, 22 this year.
22 this year.
22 this year. So basically known him since he was like 7.
Yeah.
Like seeing this kid grow and all the tribulations over the years, the goods and the bads. And like that conversation yesterday was, it hits pretty hard because it's like, fuck, like to see you through all of that and to be able to see you as a grown man now and actually go, hey, look, I need some help. I need to have a chat here. And to have that chat, it was, cool.
Proud of you.
Fucking proud of you, man. Like, good cunt. 10 out of 10.
Uts. So let's plug and round up. Sorry, guys, for the super long episode, but...
It's not really that long. It's a good one. Yeah.
Buckle in.
I hope you buckled in. If not, whoopsie. You're sitting there on the roller coaster going...
So plugging Mr. E, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, website, Google, YouTube, Apple Podcast, and Spotify.
Yep.
Please remember to follow, subscribe, and leave a review or a rating. It really helps us in the back end and kind of see that you guys are listening and, you know, out there. And
just remember, guys,
we're not here
to fuck spiders.
You completely forgot.
I remembered. I remembered.
Last minute. Cheers, guys. See you.
Thank you. Bye.